Kia ora, everybody. It is a Sunday, the 4th of December, 2022. It is 8 a.m. and this is the NZ Travel Show.
And this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZ Pocket Guide, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. So why not go ahead and have a little browse of the website? It is 100% free, so why not? But if you're not really into reading, this is what the NZ Travel Show is all about. You guys can come onto the live chat and ask your New Zealand travel questions directly to the experts and get your questions answered immediately. Don't wait. Put your questions in the comments or the live chat, that's what they call it, or put it in the live chat and we'll go through them all one by one. And like I say, if you miss the live show, you can always put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos and we always respond.
Indeed. So we started this morning with a lovely Patreon of us called Anthony. What is Anthony saying?
Anthony says, Morena from Rodeo, California. Long time no live session.
Laura, what does Morena mean?
Morena means good morning in the local language of New Zealand, Te Reo Maori.
All right. Yeah, long time no live session. We did skip 2 of them as we were gallivanting around and, creating some more content for you and doing some research. We also have Biagio saying, greeting from Belgium. Love you channel. Nice.
Oh, nice.
How do you say hello in Flemish?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Me neither. I don't know. But hey, we're glad to have you on board. If you come to New Zealand, make sure to bring some good beers. Because, it won't be the same level than what you have in Belgium. Okay.
Good beers, some good chocolate, some good...
Yeah. No, chocolate
waffles.
We do good. We do good chocolate here. It's just the beers is not as good as the Belgian beer, I think. Yeah.
Oh, controversial, Robin.
Ooh, no.
You'll make some Kiwis very sad.
Okay, Nathan Bates, the great Nathan from Topo. What is he saying?
He says, Kia ora, Morena, everyone. It's officially summer and Christmas is on its way.
Indeed. This is our first live show in summer because, yes, New Zealand summer starts on the 1st of December. New Zealand summer is December, January and February. So the good weather is upon us. That's up for debate at the moment, let's be honest. But the good weather is upon us and we're going to have an epic summer. That is really exciting indeed. Speaking of exciting stuff, we have somebody that just came back from New Zealand here.
Lawrence says, Kia ora, Laura, Robin and everyone here. So good to have you back. Tell us all about Samoa.
Oh, well, here's the cat out of the bag. Yes, we were in Samoa for the last 3 weeks. We will talk a lot about Samoa, especially during the Patreon live show. We'll recap a little bit all that for you, but we had an absolute blast. We've done a lot of research, so some good things coming your way quite soon.
Yeah. We have Nathan saying, what were you doing for 2 weeks?
So we were gone for 3 weeks actually. We just that's what we were doing our live show on the road, the last one we did. And so, yeah, we were in the beautiful island country of Samoa doing some research for maybe creating a travel guide for them. Who knows? Who knows? That may be the thing we do all the time.
Maybe we will now, since we've gone and done all the work. Might as well finish the job.
So, yeah, we did extensive research. And that's why you see us being really exhausted right now. We literally came back...
yesterday.
We arrived back 11 hours ago, so here you go. We just back, and that was very, very, very much a lot of work.
Yeah.
But cool. We are going to take a bit of a nap for like 3-4 days, and then we'll get back to work. What is Rafa Cat from Leeds saying?
Rafakat says, good morning all the way from beautiful Leeds. Where have you been for the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, so as I just mentioned, we were in the beautiful island country of Samoa, trying basically everything they have to offer over there. We did try all type of accommodations, resorts and all that. They don't really have resorts. Doing all the type of activities that there is. I'm battered and full of bruises. I'll be honest with you guys. It was a physical, very physical trip.
Very adventurous country, which is ideal if you're in... A lot of people come to New Zealand because they're really into adventure, but if you're looking for tropical adventures, Samoa will definitely meet that requirement.
Yeah, if you're looking for something really rough and epic. All right, so while we were gone, we still had some news from the great Armand. So if you guys don't know, we have a French backpacker called Armand that usually join us during every one of our live show right here, and he reports basically on his gap year in New Zealand. And so he obviously went through week 6 that we didn't show on this live show, but it's on the channel somewhere. And now we're going to be looking at weeks 7 and 8. So let's start with his week number 7 and see what he got up to. And yeah, that's going to last about 3 minutes, and we'll be back right after that.
Kia ora, New Zealand travelers. This is Armin reporting on the 7th week of my working holiday. So the past couple of days have been quite intense. I attended the Women's World Cup finals on Saturday, and it was absolutely phenomenal. The second game was thrilling from start to finish, and it was nail-biting because England could have won until the very end. I stayed for a couple of days at YMCA hostel in Auckland, where I actually met one of the YouTube channel's viewers who recognized me. That was pretty cool. Then on Thursday, I hopped on the Kiwi Experience bus and went to Hot Water Beach. This experience was really cool. I had never had both hot water from beneath and the cold water from the beach coming. And we had fun with the guys. The group with whom I'm traveling is absolutely fabulous, very nice and chill people. I'm really grateful for that. Unfortunately, the kayaking was cancelled due to poor weather conditions, but I'll probably do that another time because the pass is valid for it's valid for a year. So I'll definitely do some activities which I couldn't do this time around, either because the weather conditions were poor or they overlapped. Then yesterday we did the black water rafting, which was absolutely adrenaline heavy, and I wasn't expecting it to be like that, to be honest. That was pretty cool. We saw the glowworms in Waitomo caves. That was pretty fun to do. And today, so Saturday, we went to Hobbiton, and shout out actually to the bus guide Fraser for having been able to book this for us, because we were not supposed to originally do it, but he went above and beyond to make things work out for us. He's really cool and efficient, and I love this guy. And then tonight we will be in a couple of hours going to the Maori village experience, and I will keep you guys posted on that in the next video. So until next week, guys, take care.
Alright, Nora, so what do you think about his little adventure on the north end of New Zealand?
Looks pretty darn fun. Doing a bit of blackwater rafting. That's a really epic trip to do, and a really epic way to see the glowworms.
He was saying that he was surprised by the amount of adventure that was, like the epicness. I feel like no one else will be surprised. Like blackwater rafting is sold as a big adventurous thing to do.
Obviously Hobbiton's always a very magical place, especially if you are a fan of the Lord of the Rings. It is a must for the bucket list if you are a fan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple of you guys were mentioning that the quality wasn't like as great, but anyway, I did adjust the settings, so hopefully we're back on track, beautiful people, back on track. Okay, so Anthony was saying that he had one not so good experience in New Zealand. So let's go over that.
So he says, when I was there, I had one bad experience with the Northern Explorer. It turned around and we were taking a day trip to go to Auckland from Wellington, and it broke down and left us stranded in Papakura with no way to get to Auckland, as a continuation of the last comment. But we got reimbursed and our money for the train ride.
Well, at least you got your money back. But yeah, I mean... those kind of visitors and like tourist tours, our tourist train rides haven't run as often as they had pre-COVID, so they're still kind of adjusting things. And you'll see that throughout the whole tourism industry. So just give it a few months, and then it's gonna get back on track. But at least things happen. Things got sorted out for you, which is really good. what were the things that you liked the most during your trips? That's what I kind of want to know.
Yeah, what are
like
the
Lawrence
highlights?
is saying, it's so nice to hear it and now to be able to say, oh yeah, I did this. Now one there. I think that's always really cool. Like I
Yeah.
really enjoy like something when I watch like what Armin send us, right? It's kind of like, oh yeah, done that. Yeah, it's interesting to get somebody else's take on that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
What did you think of Hobbiton, Lawrence? Did you think that was worth it? Did you enjoy it? And the Blackwall rafting, have you done it? I don't think you've done the Blackwall rafting from memory, but if you did, I want to know.
Yeah.
Baby Burns says, hey guys, what's up? And apa kabar? It's Indonesian and it means how are you?
Oh wow! How did you know that, Robin?
Oh, the head in
so
there.
bilingual. It's
Yeah.
quite amazing.
How are you doing, Laura?
Really good, really amazing. For anyone just tuning in, we are fresh or maybe not so fresh.
Oh man, we're so not fresh. You can hear my voice. We are very much not fresh.
Maybe not so fresh back from our 3-week-long trip doing some research in the beautiful island country of Samoa to create our next installment of an amazing pocket guide website. So that is coming up in the next couple of, or maybe a bit more than a couple of months. So yeah, that's what we've been up to. That's why we have been away from our live sessions for the last couple of weeks. But yeah, now we're back, and the first thing we thought we would do is make sure that we didn't miss this live session.
No,
this live
can't
show.
Can't miss it.
We made sure to wake up bright and early for our usual 8 a.m. New Zealand time live show.
Definitely ready to wake up that early, that's for sure.
We struggled through. We're here now.
No,
and
no struggle. Easy,
we are
easy.
super glad to be here with you guys and getting back to our usual scheduling.
Indeed. But yeah, what happened to you guys? By the way, so yeah, on this show, we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. So if you're just tuning in, well, wow, my voice is like absolutely nonsense. If you're just tuning in, just ask us your questions about traveling in New Zealand. We are here for you. Lauren says she loved Hobbiton, of course. And Anthony, his favorite things to do in New Zealand, where?
He says, well, the best 2 things I could tell you besides being in New Zealand was the Wetter Caves Unleashed and the Wetter Caves. So the Wetter Caves Unleashed is in Auckland, in the Auckland city centre.
I think it's called Wetter Studio Unleashed.
Or Wetter Unleashed, I think it's just. But anyway, Wetter Unleashed is in Auckland, and then the Wetter Cave, that is in Wellington, in the capital at the bottom of the North Island. So 2 different locations, but from the same people, behind lots of behind-the-scenes special effects and props of many movies, including most famously The Lord of the Rings, but also included in a lot of Marvel movies, for instance, and, you know, classics like King Kong, even though not the classic version of King Kong, the reboot version of King Kong. Anyway, so yeah, that's what that is. And then Anthony says, oh, and the car museum. Which car museum did you go to, Anthony?
There's a lot of car museum in New Zealand.
Yeah, there's a lot of car museums. I'm guessing one on the North Island, since you seem to have spent a lot of time on the North Island. There is one in the Wellington region area, so perhaps you went to that one, maybe on the Kapiti coast.
Yes.
We shall see. Tell us all, Anthony.
And the great Lauren says she didn't do the whitewater rafting because when she wanted to do the black rafting, the caves were all flooded.
Oh no.
And all the boat/river exploration were closed. So
yes,
I think you told us that, but yeah.
Yeah.
When we did our blackwater rafting experience for New Zealand's biggest gap year, we were literally like at the highest operational level that was available. So what you see with all the gushing water and everything is literally as high as it gets. Like a little higher than that, they just canceled the tour. And in fact, they did cancel a few tours on that day, but they were like, I think you guys will be fine. So yeah.
They could see how tall Robin was and was like, oh, he could stick his head up above the water.
What? That is how we do safety in New Zealand, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Just realising from Nathan's latest comment that we did miss your earlier comment, Nathan, about the earthquake.
I'll just read this one, that's fine.
But
It's
we'll
the
just
same,
read
yeah.
we'll just read this one. Sorry about that, Nathan. So Nathan says, did you have much damage where you are from the recent earthquakes from last week?
So we do live in central North Island, where there was quite a fair amount of earthquake, actually over 120 recorded, but they were all relatively small. There's only 2 which were like relatively felt, like earthquake that people actually did feel. Obviously we were not in the region, so we didn't know if we didn't feel anything, but our neighbors, like basically about a quarter of our neighbors actually told us that they felt anything, the other one didn't. And they were kind enough to come and check out on our house and this beautiful studio. And literally nothing fell. Not even those hanging lights, like those really tall lights and everything. There should have been things falling. There should have been some sort of damage.
Yeah,
but there was none.
that just goes to prove, Robin, that your construction of this studio is pretty sturdy.
That's true. I'll take the compliments. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It wasn't luck.
If anybody needs an earthquake-proofing studio, Robin is very good at constructing one. So
that's very much a niche for business guys. That's very, very much a niche. But yeah.
So yeah, we haven't had any damage where we are, and just from what our friends have told us as well, the only damage other people that we know have had is literally a mirror breaking. Although they may have 10...
And actually I would say an ugly mirror breaking, so it's okay, it's not a loss.
Yes. But they may have 10 years worth of bad luck. So
I think it's 7.
Is it 7?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. But moving on, anyway, we're fine. Nathan, I hope you're fine too. Did you have any damage where you were?
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know.
Anthony says, yes, he did the car museum in the Wellington area. So good guess, Laura. Good guess.
Yeah, well, I know my car museums.
Lawrence say, when walking through Ruakuri Caves, which is a dry cave network to explore in the Waitomo area, there is a scale that shows the water level. It was at 80 centimeters. I asked one of the guide, what's the normal level? And she mentioned that at this time of the year, it should be between 20 and 30 centimeters. Yes, it has been unusually rainy here in New Zealand this November. Yeah. So it's been very, very, very rainy. And we have had a lot of rain. Clay's here. Look at that.
Hey,
he's
Clay.
back. We're back. You're back. Everybody's back. And we're definitely super fresh, Clay. Definitely, we have energy to share. We don't have a headache, and our voices is not dropping on enough. So that's what's great. Definitely plenty of energy. All right, guys. We do have a question today. I kind of didn't forget, but yeah, we do have the question of the day. Question of the day. Question of the day. Wow. Question of the day. I'm not tired. Hey, so the question of the day is very simple. Did you guys realize we weren't here for 2 weeks? Did you actually notice it or not? That's okay. That's okay if you didn't. 12% of people did not notice we were gone. 88% of people actually noticed we were not here. So here you go. That's where we're at for the question of the day. Let's move on. Savio has a question for you, Laura.
Savio says, how long is student visa taking to process?
So you will have to contact Immigration New Zealand in order to get more information on that. There is the website right here on screen for you, Savio, because it will really depend on what type of student visa you want to get. It will depend on your application, your country of origin, and a lot of other factors, as well as how busy is Immigration New Zealand at the moment. So you'll need to contact them directly, and immigration.govt.nz. Check that out, and there's plenty of info for you.
Yes, they do publish all their processing times on there, so that is the best website to go to.
Nathan says, I like that we have the travel question, by the way. Here you go. First travel question of today. I like it. Okay, Nathan, what is he saying?
Nathan says, we had a few things damaged at my work with part of the ceiling collapse and a lot of wine on the floor.
Oh
no, not the precious New Zealand wine.
Oh no. Okay, Lawrence says, is there a time difference between New Zealand and Samoa? Fun fact!
Is it a whole 24 hours?
No,
it's not. There's nothing, is there?
So there used to be almost a day difference between Samoa and New Zealand. However, at some point in their history, I can't remember when. Do you remember roughly the year? Not too long ago. Literally like 2000 and something. So in the 2011 or something. In the 2000, they decided as a country to skip a day, and they were like, "We'll skip a day and get back to like the same kind of a time zone than New Zealand." And so it's one of the only countries in the world that has a day missing in their history book. Probably nothing much would have happened on that day in the 2000s, but they literally just completely skipped a day, and there is one date that just does not exist on the Samoa history chart, which is kind of interesting. So no, now Samoa has the same time zone that New Zealand. So yeah, cool question. I like it, Lawrence. Adil says, Kia ora, Robin, Laura, and all the viewers. My question of the day is Lake Waikaremoana boat cruise wheelchair accessible? Absolutely not.
No.
No. It is quite rough and tumble over there. I mean, not the lake itself, but just like, the pier is not perfect and all that. So,
Yeah, their boats
sadly,
are,
it is not
their
an
boats are
accessible
also
option.
quite small.
Yeah.
So they don't have boats that are kitted out for, with ramps and things like that. It's usually you do have to be able to do some climbing and stuff like that. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that would be a little bit more that would be a more of a challenge for wheelchair users, that's for sure. But yeah, lots of other great wheelchair accessible options around the country, Adil, as you well know. So
We covered that extensively
yes,
for you, Adil.
we do. Savio says, thanks a lot, mate. You're welcome, Savio. Clay says, your decal next to the Gisborne on your map didn't survive the quake.
What are you talking about, mate? There's no decal. There's no decal at all. It is all like authentic Arctic white wood of woodness, okay? It's done now.
Thanks, Clay, for your keen eye, making sure you keep us on track.
I was quite surprised. A lot is still sticking and everything, so I'm relatively happy with how it turns out. So here you go.
We have Heshan here saying...
Hi, Heshan. That's been a while. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, saying, hello, guys. How have you been? This month end, I'm heading to New Plymouth and the Festival of Lights as well. That's awesome. So the
Nice.
Festival of Lights is something that happens in New Plymouth every single year, and it usually is...
It's really pretty.
Several week-long or even a month-long festival that happens all the way through December through sort of the beginning of January. And it's where they light up their most famous sort of inner city park, which is it I knew I had the name in my head and then it just left. I think it's called like Parakura Park. Can you remember? We visited it.
I know. I'm just
okay.
blanking right here.
Me too. It was just weird. I just had it in my head and then it left. But anyway, their most famous park in the city centre, they light it up with all these different light effects and even lighting up some of the lake as well, so you get to see all the reflections. It's really, really beautiful. They also do some sort of live shows there occasionally, usually around the weekends and stuff. So yeah, definitely a good place to be going at this time of the year, that's for sure.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, Heshan, send us some photos. That'd be fun. All right, so we have Nathan that says, did you have good or bad weather while you were away? Interesting question. So, one, it is summer in New Zealand when we have the best weather in New Zealand. Actually, in the South Pacific Islands, is usually the rainy season, which is when the temperatures are even hotter and there's much more rain and risk of cyclones as well due to how hot weather kind of behaves. And so, we did have an extensive amount of rain because that was the rainy season. But, you kind of do things in between. And that's the low touristic season as well, because obviously people tend to want to travel when it's still really hot, but less hot than what it is. Like, we're not talking 31, 32 degrees, but we're talking like 25, 20 to 25, which is already really nice. And also less rain. So yeah, we did have quite a good mix between rain and good weather. For the first week of our trip, we had pretty much rain every day, but in between the patches, but it's like kind of those kind of tropical weather, right? When you have rain for like half an hour and it's gonna be like pouring down with rain, like you can barely see like the end of your arm, because there's that much rain, and then it's gonna stop, and then you're gonna have beautiful weather for a couple of hours, and then it's gonna rain again. So you just have to know how you're traveling your way around, like how to manage that, and it's all good. We enjoy that. We enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, if you think the weather in New Zealand is interchangeable, in Samoa
so it's quickly changeable.
It's quick, yeah.
Not interchangeable.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's kind of like. It's like
Macarena.
Yeah, it's like rain, sun, rain, sun, rain, sun. Exactly. But yeah, if you thought it was very changeable, I will stick with the word interchangeable. In Samoa or in New Zealand, it is 10 times more in Samoa. That's just the doorbell, so do excuse me.
Okay, so Lauren's final fact about Samoa interesting. She'll be back in a second, Laura. Okay, JT says, what do you think about you folks as tour guides on Get Your Guide? It'd be fun to meet, get a tour guided by you, maybe once a month. With the 2024 trip planning, we're always looking to earn air miles. Okay, so there's not just Get Your Guide. There's a lot of other places where you can actually book tours, such as Viata, Klook. So there's a lot of different places, and Get Your Guide tend to be the most expensive. So we probably wouldn't work with Get Your Guide. I mean, they're correct. They're totally be better, but man, they are expensive even for like the same tours, because there's kind of sometimes the way they do things is that the same tour that you would get, like, you know, we're talking about black wall rafting, the same tour that would be listed on there would be a little more expensive. So yeah, so we probably wouldn't work with Get Your Guide just because of the pricing structure. But yeah, us running tours, we have dabbled and toyed with the idea, especially through COVID. We did talk about it, but we are very, very, very busy. You know, I don't want to kind of like say, oh my gosh, you know, like poor us. It's just that we have very intense schedules. So being able to make room for that would be a little tough. Maybe one day partnering with a company that does like bus tours or anything like that, and just run like one bus tour like as a one-off. Maybe something like that. Maybe a once a year thing, maybe. But I don't think we could do a once a month. I wouldn't see that doable. Like genuinely, we just don't have a spare 12 days in the year to be able to do that. So it's just kind of, yeah, we just wouldn't be able to do that. But yeah, it is a good idea. We have heard from a lot of people they want to kind of meet us and everything like that, and so we'll try to organize some more of those things when COVID is kind of like dying down, you know. So yeah, so this time frame of like 2024, something that will be something more realistic for sure. So yeah, I do like the idea. It's not something we never heard of before and we never thought about before. We just need to find some good logistic behind it. So stay tuned. We'll work on that, and if we do it, it's probably going to be in partnership with another company, and we'll just kind of tag along in like something pre-existing and just add our little touch to it. That's probably the more realistic kind of way to do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, we can't
yeah.
fit everyone in our car, can we? It would be a very limited tour, and we don't have a bus driving license, so yeah, we would definitely need some help if we were to do such a tour.
All right, Clay says, we have a similar decals in our kitchen just until we renovate it, but I'll always get asked if I've done the tiling. No, there's stickers.
Yeah.
Just say, yeah, I've done the tiling myself. Pretty good tiler. Yeah. Extreme Talota is here from Tokoroa.
Ooh, Extreme Talota is saying Morena.
We were in Tokoroa when we did the end of the last live show, so here you go, Extreme Talota. We did a live show live from your town. How cool is that? I think that's pretty fun. I'll enjoy that. Rafakat, what does he say?
Says, how do you rate Samoa for a holiday destination and food?
Okay.
Let's start with how we rate it as a holiday destination.
Yes.
So, as a holiday destination, it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's not, I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but it's definitely for people that are looking for an adventurous place to visit or to do a lot of sightseeing. So if you want to see beautiful waterfalls, natural attractions as well, like blowholes where they shoot like tens of meters into the air. There's also beautiful snorkeling to be done. Actually, some of the best snorkeling we've done from shore in the South Pacific.
Oh, the best.
The best. So
absolutely amazing snorkeling.
Yeah,
wow.
So beautiful snorkeling over there, and also the cultural aspects as well. There's definitely ways to have very authentic cultural experiences where you get to see people doing really authentic demonstrations of their crafts. You also get to see some of the very grueling sort of experience of people having traditional tattoos being done.
I admire the artistry. I do not envy it at all.
Yes.
It is such a long process they do with stick, and it takes 12 days. Oh my lord!
Full traditional, like from legs up to the waist tattoos.
Wow.
So yeah, really, really interesting and adventurous country to visit. But the reason we say that it's perhaps not for everyone is if somebody's looking for, ultimate comfort island resort. sort
No.
of, if you're looking for basically the pampered resorts you might be aware of in Fiji, that's not really what Samoa is all about. Samoa's more iconic accommodation is more the beach valets, which is more like beach glamping would be the best way to describe it.
So it's more of an adventurous kind of country, right? You go over there because you want to explore the authentic tropical wilderness, the authentic South Pacific island wilderness, towering waterfalls, like lush rainforest, lava fields, cliffs, beautiful sand beach, and amazing snorkeling, those kind of things. Like, we snorkel and we see like turtles and everything, like literally, like that has happened quite easily. But you absolutely will not be like pampered and in comfort all the time. You've got to be okay with some cold showers. Hot water access is not available everywhere. Just all those kind of things. You've got to know that air conditioning is going to work and on and off. Just those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to rough it a little bit more. But that said, it is a fantastic country, and we rate it as one of our personal favorite because that's the type of travelers that we are. We also have the ability, because we have traveled so much, to be able to differentiate one destination from the other. So that's why we put those qualifiers. For Robin and Laura, one of the best South Pacific islands we've ever visited, and we loved it, and we just can't wait to get back there. Just to make it clear. Now, when it comes down to the food, I would like to talk about another subject, please. The food's not great in Samoa. It is a lot of deep fried food, and there are a few authentic dishes that you can get here and there, but most of the time you will have to go with kind of like whatever has been fried today, and it's just not the best experience. You're traveling over there for the culture, for the natural landscape, for the accessibility to really unique attractions and activities to do. You're not going to find that Samoa is any of a culinary destination. It's just not what it is just yet.
There were a few hidden gems when it came to food, so obviously we sort them out, and they will be obviously on the guide once we have written our next pocket guide, which will be Samoa pocket guide. So we definitely have found the few hidden gems, and we will be putting them on there. So as always, we always try and find the options, even if they are a bit limited. And so coming soon.
Here you go. All right. Clay says, have you heard of the Tree Church? And if so, where is it? I heard some people talking about it at the pub last night. I've heard about it as well. Like, it's kind of like there's like a frame in the shape of a church, and then they're growing like ivy plants and everything, and they made a tree church. Yeah, I think it's somewhere on the North Island, isn't it? No, have you heard of it before?
I don't think so.
I've heard of it. I do not know where it is, but I've heard of it as well. I would be honest, it wouldn't be something that would draw me to a destination. I'd have to go check it out. But yeah, I've heard of that one as well. Like I've seen it on like Instagram or something.
Yeah,
so,
maybe I'll look into that one.
Yeah, here you go. Extreme Talata say he saw the replay of it. Yeah, he did you did see the replay of us in Tokoroa. Alright guys, so while you keep coming up with some more questions about traveling in New Zealand, we're going to catch up with Armand again. So again, we have a couple of episodes to catch up on. This is the last one of the one we're going to be catching up on this week, and then next week we have two of them, and then we should be back on track. So let's see what Armand was up to in Rotorua. Spoiler, he got a job.
Kia ora everyone, this is Arman reporting on what I believe is the 8th week of my working holiday in New Zealand. So as you guys know, I got to Rotorua last week, and I've decided to stay here for a couple of weeks, if not months, for two main reasons. Firstly, because I was kind of getting tired, to be honest, of moving from place to place, and felt like it was time to stay at the same spot and rest a bit, which is ironic because I just started working at an orchard a few days ago. And the second reason is because even though the Kiwi experience journey has been terrific so far, I felt like there were some inconsistencies and things that needed to be sorted out. And even the bus driver was candid and told us that we were only on the fourth bus since the travel restrictions were lifted and tourism resumed in New Zealand. So yeah, I believe that by giving them more time, it could be even better and better optimized. So what have I been up to for the past days? I did go to Zob. It's basically a rolling globe. I'm not sure how this activity is called, but you're basically in a globe that rolls down a cliff, and it was really awesome. I believe they have the fastest globe in the world, and I did it with a friend of mine. I don't know how I managed to get my iPhone in there and tape the whole thing, but it was really really cool. Yeah, that was definitely a fun activity. And nearby there we had the 3D art gallery, which is basically a place where you can take some silly photos in like it in optical effect fashion, you know, and that was really fun. We managed to do some quite innovative things there, and I really like art, especially when it's original like that. So that was cool. I also we went to the skyline with my friend and did the activities there. So we had the luge racing tracks, the zip lines, and just contemplating the view with the cabins. That was terrific value for money, I felt, because like for 150 New Zealand dollars up approximately, you have a half-day pass with tons of things to do, and it was really fun. So many amazing things to do in Rotorua. To be honest, it's borderline overwhelming. Then on Tuesday, I had my first day at work, so I've been working at this orchard in Te Puke for the past few days. So we've been mostly doing what I believe is called cane wrapping. So the process of wrapping the selected canes around strings. And just today I did something different. I basically did the fruit thinning, so getting rid of the bad kiwis, if you will. And yeah, it's just the only downside I see with this job is that you cannot work when it's pouring rain. So sometimes you go to the orchard, start working for a couple of hours, and it starts raining, and then you have to stop working and wait for a bit for the orchard to dry. Other than that, no complaints. It's the employers are really nice. My colleagues are really cool, so we get lots of laughs. And one thing I will say is that if you're thinking of like if you after your first day you feel exhausted and feel like giving up, don't. You're gonna get used to the rhythm, and it's a bit physical, but it's definitely worth it. You'll meet many amazing people, and I had never done any sort of manual labor in forever, so that was kind of uncharted territory for me, but I've done it for the past couple of days, and it's been so far quite fun, and it pays well, so it's hard honest work. What's there to complain about, right? Also, I did go to the Polynesian spa with my other friend twice, and I love that place because it's so good to relax after a hard day of work, and all the minerals in that water, you can just tell it's not any it's not a regular jacuzzi or whatever you want to call it. It's just really relaxing and rejuvenating. I think that wraps it up for this week, folks. Until the next one, cheers.
All right, so what do you guys think about Arman's week number 8? He definitely did get to a lot. On top of finding a job, that's pretty cool. And also, after every single one of his workday, he went to the Polynesian spa. I think that's a pretty good way to sort out the workday. I love that, Armand. But yeah, no, that's pretty fun to see that he also got something really typically, well, pardon the pun, but typically Kiwi as a job.
Yeah.
Went to do Kiwi food thinning. I love it. All right, so what is Clay asking?
Clay says, is all the deep fried food just what they market to tourists, or would that be common in the family home also?
So that's why he's asking about Samoa.
Samoa.
Yeah, so that's very common. So they do have some traditional food that they will cook at home. As things using taro, which is a root vegetables, and all the things that you can gather with. But the local diet is very much into like this kind of like what we would call junk food, just because sadly there's just not enough education about like dietary health and all that. So yeah, so it is something which is definitely fueled by the local demands more than the touristic demands, since the touristic demands at Zliti just restarted within the last few months, and we were definitely mostly surrounded by locals at all time. There was only a handful of tourists that we saw multiple times, actually, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was really, you could count the tourists on your hands, and even on the flight back, there was pretty much mostly just Samoan, and on the way in and on the way out. So
Yeah. That also made Samoa kind of a more like sort of an interesting place to visit as well. Something quite interesting was that the locals utilize the tourist attractions a lot. Like they're really into their own sort of tourism industry. So even going to an accommodation where they would spend even just a day at a resort accommodation so that they could take the day to relax at the beach there and to, you know, use the food there. So a lot of the Samoa tourism industry is actually directed at the locals as well as internationals. So you feel like it doesn't feel like everything is put on for you know, international taste.
it's very honest, genuine kind of stuff. Right? It's like, it's literally what a local would like, what a local will do, the show that a local will do, it's really very much like that.
Yeah, it's more like they try to cater to basically everyone, but knowing that also, you know, the food scene as well is more for the locals, I think.
All right, so Lauren says, oh, the Polynesian spa. Do you mean, the Polynesian spa? What a nice place. So you've been there, I'm guessing. But yeah, it is a really nice place. And as Armand was saying, like the water does feel different. It does feel different than your normal, as Armand was saying, the jacuzzi water.
Yes.
So yeah, it does feel very much different. And
the minerals in it.
I don't know if you can feel all the minerals, but you feel like there is something different about it. And so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Extreme Talavata says taro and coconut milk together. Yum.
Yes,
Palusami, is that how they call it over there in Samoa?
So in Samoa, palusami is actually the leaf of a taro plant.
The small leaf of it.
Yeah, the small leaf of a taro plant cooked with coconut cream, which is really good.
Yeah. It's rich, so you wouldn't have like it every day. I can tell you that right now.
Don't have a whole bowl of it. Take it from us. But just having like a nice little side to something else is quite good. But also an interesting thing about palusami, about cooking the leaf of the taro plant, is that there's one part of the leaf you need to cut off and not put into the dish, because it can give you a bit of an itchy rash for an hour or so. Kind of a weird thing.
So it's a bit poisonous. So it's kind of interesting. Like if you don't remove the pointy bits of the leaves, it's poisonous, and you'll be itching yourself for some reason.
So make sure that it is prepared by somebody who knows what they're doing.
Well, with that said, I mean, there are some sushi things in Japan where they use a fish, and if they don't cut off like correctly the bladder or something of the fish, you can die. So I feel like, you may get a little bit of an itch for an hour. Is a risk I'm willing to take on like a local dish.
It's not the worst.
Yeah. What is JT having to say?
JT says, still so much to see and do. I would love to do that.
Yeah, so which one are you talking about? Is it the luge, the Polynesian spa? What else did Darman get up to? Or the Zorbing as well? Which one are you referring to?
And news just in, guys. It looks like Extreme Talauta has changed his username
to Matua X.
To Matua X.
I like Matua. I love it. I think you should stick to that from now on.
Yeah.
Matua X. That's cool.
Siok is here, one of our other lovely Patreons, saying, welcome back, Rob and Laura. Missed you. I'm just packing to leave Mount Cook and to drive towards Christchurch. Have a good day. Sorry, we won't be able to join in today. That is
enjoy
totally
your adventure today. I hope you had fun in Mount Cook. Did you get to do the Hookah Valley track that you wanted to do?
Yeah. I did quickly see your photos on the Patreon group, which looked really stunning mountains and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like you're having a blast, and we're very jealous.
Well, speaking of that, I was about to talk about the Patreon group. So I would like to thank every single one of our supporters on Patreon. You guys have been absolutely awesome. So while we were away, you guys have shared all your photos about traveling in New Zealand. A ton of photos came through. And I absolutely love that. You inspired everybody to like travel and to see more places and stuff. And some of the photos, like Peter and Tamo, you guys had some really amazing shots. And Lawrence was dabbling and showing also some of the spots she visited and everything. So yeah, so I just want to say thank you guys. It was really awesome. And also, as we were overseas, sometimes we could connect and just see you guys having a blast in New Zealand, reminding us why we do all these travel guides. That's really awesome. If any of you guys which are watching right now that are not on Patreon want to join us, it's relatively cheap. There is no commitment, so you can leave whenever you want, and you got access to plenty of awesome perks. At new level, we even have access to our secret Facebook group where you can interact with us all the time and share a lot of photos and see what everybody else is up to. It's really cool, and we share a lot of hidden gems of New Zealand. So consider joining if you feel like it. There's a link somewhere. In the description.
In the description below.
Yeah,
Take a look at the
there's a
link to Patreon.
Yeah, do it if you want.
All right.
All right.
Lawrence is saying, hello, Seok. Enjoy the trip. Awesome pictures of Mount Cook earlier.
Okay, now I want to see those pictures.
And then Seok says, thanks, Lawrence. Mount Cook has been brilliant and sunny every day. Rob and Laura, we hiked more trails than we planned and had a blast. Beautiful country.
Nice.
Yay, I'm glad you got to do more than you planned. I know originally on your itinerary, we were a little bit unsure whether it was, if it was doable to do as much as you wanted to do, but we're so glad that you actually... Obviously, you guys are fit and you could handle it. We don't always, when we're giving people advice, we always don't understand everybody's fitness levels, and most of the time, most people are pretty unfit.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you guys have proven that you are troopers and you can go and do all the different hikes, because honestly, in Mount Cook, there's so many amazing places to hike to that if you can do them all, definitely go for it. It's amazing.
And if anyone is confused on why we know so much about Seok itinerary, as part of our Patreon group, we actually do give a lot of advice and support on your itinerary. So we add notes and everything. So we have inner understanding of her itinerary. Oh, sorry. All right, Paul has something to say.
Paul says, hi guys, I'm headed to New Zealand soon, and your channel and website have been very helpful. Could you please tell me whether the One Ring tour at Twizel is still running? It's hard to reach her. Unfortunately, the One Ring tour is no longer running in Twizel.
Yeah, we need to remove. We have still a couple of mentions of her on the website, and we need to remove them. It's on our to-do list.
Yes,
of things to do. But yeah, sadly, we have learned that she decided to no longer operate. She did power through a bit of COVID, but then it was just too much for her. So sadly, you won't be able to join that tour.
Yeah.
We're very sorry about that, Paul. And since most of the tour was happening on private land, you sadly just don't have access to this kind of land anymore. So the Pelennor Fields are no longer accessible to tourists, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah. If you are looking for more like driving around location tours to do with the Lord of the Rings, then in Wellington there's still the Lord of the Rings tour happening in the Wellington area if you are going there. So
and in Queenstown you can also join the
Nomad Safari
tour, which also goes to a lot of Lord of the Rings locations. And nearby Waitomo, you can join Hairy Feet Waitomo, which is one of our favorite Lord of the Rings tour. It's not too far from Waitomo, so if you have that on your itinerary, maybe consider this one as well. We do have some articles actually on NZ Pocket Guide that showcase some of the places, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Adil has a interesting question saying, is Samoa in general wheelchair accessible? Are there any handicap accessible activities to do there?
Now, we kept on asking, because obviously we do always do an accessibility guide to every destination we visit. It's extremely limited. Even in some resort that will kind of consider themselves having, like, or some hotel that will consider having, accessible features. They will have like a handful of room that may be accessible. Not all of them will have like the handles on the side, in the bathroom and all that. And there will be like some of the let's say facilities in the hotel. Like for example, you will be able to go to your room, but you probably wouldn't be able to go to the bar and those kind of things. So it's really not tailored or catering for people with difficulties.
With mobility issues.
Yeah, mobility issues, yeah. It's not catered for that at all as a country, so I will kind of not suggest this one at all. Yeah.
Clay says, only hiking I did there was the Hermitage Hotel's bar.
Oh, you have to climb a couple of stairs to staircase,
Clay.
so here you go. If you went to Mount Cook and did not hike, mate, you've done Mount Cook wrong.
Yeah.
That is wrong.
I mean, there's great views from the bars and the restaurants at the Hermitage Hotel. And
that's true, the views is good.
I mean, the views are good if you prefer to see Mount Cook from the comfort of a nice heated
With a
bar
cold
with
beer.
a cold beer in hand, then that is an option indeed. Thanks, Clay, for reminding us.
Let me
the
just go
other
editor
ways.
guide and add that as a hike to do in Moncook. Hike up to the restaurant in the Hermitage Hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we had Clay as a guest writer to have his sometimes some of his takes on some
Clay's
destinations.
input.
Well, people are always looking for the locals guides to blah blah blah. Clay
Yeah.
technically is considered as a local, right? He's born here, and
Yeah.
sometimes people are telling me I'm not a local. I don't know what I'm talking about because I sound so funny. So yeah, maybe we should have Clay do the travel guide and see if people are happy with just hiking up the restaurants. What about that?
Sioka is doing a very nice shout out for us,
Oh, thank
saying
you, Siok.
support Rob and Laura on Patreon. They are so helpful. Thank you, Siok.
Okay, so Matthew X is explaining what's behind his name and saying that there's a name I usually use when we have exchange students at the Marai, or I use my name. Okay, cool. Well, I think we should stick to that for a little bit. I enjoy it tremendously.
Yeah.
Siok find Clay's travel guide quite insightful. I decide this is what that comment means. What is Clay saying? And
Clay-
the Hooker Valley track?
Yeah, says that's the Hooker Valley track. Couldn't do any of the others because Bauti, how do you pronounce that? Bauti?
Because
Bauti was still a backpack. Yeah.
yeah, so
So
he was
it's
still in
one
the
of the
backpack.
kids,
So
yeah.
he's like Bautista.
Bautista,
Yeah.
okay.
What do you mean how you pronounce that?
So,
We know
Bauti?
his name. All right, Paul says, thank you so much, guys. That was very helpful. We assume we could go to Pelennor Fields, and now we know not to waste our time. Well, in all fairness, even if you were questing and trying to find where the Pelennor Fields are, it wouldn't be a waste of time because the sceneries around Twizel are absolutely stunning. So don't think that if you're not getting to exactly where you want to go when heading somewhere in New Zealand, it's a waste of time. You still will enjoy the journey. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
And he says that I would look into the other option you offered. You're very welcome, mate. Just feel free to come back in and out. This live session is happening at this time every single week. So yeah, every Sunday. Don't mind the poll of the day. But every Sunday it does happen. So here you go. Keep on coming back. We're here to help you, mate. Siok says Hooker Valley was busy yesterday. We did do start early to avoid the crowd. So beautiful. Yeah, it's one of the highlight, like one of the main tracks. No, it's like the same we talk about the Tongariro crossing and those kind of tracks. They can get really,
Yeah,
really
it
busy
is
with lines of people.
Definitely best if you are going to those really busy trails, like Robin says, Tongariro Crossing, Roy's Peak at Wanaka, and the Hooker Valley track in Mount Cook. I'd say those three are the most popular tracks in the country. Definitely best to do as early as possible
Yeah.
when it's quieter.
What about the coastal track in Abel Tasman? Because a lot of people do like day sections of it as well.
Yeah, that's
It is
true.
really
It's
busy.
still not as it's still not as busy as those day
The
tours
first time I
there.
did it was backpack to backpack. Like we were
Really?
Like, oh yeah. that
Wow,
was
I've
really
never
busy, yeah.
experienced it like that. Maybe I've been traveling more in the low season when
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
gone there. But
No,
yeah.
I did it in summer the first time.
Okay,
and
yeah,
it was
able
like,
able
oh,
Tasman
yeah.
as well. Let's add that to the list. To make sure to do that one early. Yeah, to avoid the crowds.
So Clay specified that his son is not a backpack. His son
Okay,
is
yeah,
a person. Just
it
so
is
you
a
know.
person.
Yeah. Matua says Clay should do a live on YouTube. Yeah, if Clay ever makes it to the North Island, we'll have him here, and yeah, he'll replace Laura. That'd be funny. He would have to wear a wig though. Okay. Anthony says stay safe, but I'm here until the end. Yes, Anthony, thank you very much for that.
Yep.
We have another about 8 minutes with you guys, so yeah.
Paul says, "Too good to be true." Kind of help from you. Oh,
Nice.
yeah, that's what we do here. And he also continues to saying, "I'll look into your Patreon soon. I've been using it since 2017."
Sweet as. Well,
okay.
we may see you on Patreon. It's a lot of fun, you know. Get access to a Facebook group. We
Yeah.
help you with your itinerary and much more. We actually send like some levels. We actually send postcard every season, so you will have missed the summer one, which starts in December. Well, we sent it from our last trip in Samoa, so just for something different. But usually it's a postcard from New Zealand about 4 times a year, which is kind of fun as well. Just telling you that yeah, next one's gonna say, hey, it's autumn and the depression is upon us, because that's what happened when it's the end of summer. Like no.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. What is Rafaka saying?
Revacat says, "Good news for people who want to travel to NZ. Emirates Airline has started non-stop flights with their Super Jumbo A380. Hopefully prices will better. Yes, I imagine it's not exactly going to be cheap.
And there's much more of those flights which are non-stop flight. Like we mentioned that actually a few months ago when Air New Zealand was starting a non-stop flight between Auckland and New York. I'm just gonna put it out there, right? Transportation is the worst part of traveling. So getting stuck in the metal box for 14 hours instead of 7 hours and then a break on the 7 hours, to me makes no sense. I actually do enjoy stopping over and having the time to stretch my legs and have a bit of a breather and having access to a bathroom which is not like, completely cramped and I can't even stand in there, because in most planes I actually cannot stand in planes bathroom. Yes, I took a flight yesterday and I struggle with I have to go in bathroom like that. It's nonsense. So so yeah, I don't really get the appeal for that. I think I should ask that the next question of the day. I'm actually going to write that down. Like, do you prefer non-stop flight or do you prefer type with stopover?
Yeah, and if you want to see Robin doing a video going into a plane bathroom, then that is available on YouTube. Robin did do a video on our last trip earlier this year. Where
I went to the Cook Islands.
On the way back from the Cook Islands, he decided to do a video of what a toilet's like in a plane. So if you are interested by that, and you've never been in a plane toilet, then well, don't worry, we have information for that as well here on NZ Pocket Guide.
That came out because somebody says I'm going to fly for the first time, and they had so many questions about the flight. I was like, you know what, I'll do a bit of it too. I'm cool with it. All right.
We're at Lawrence saying...
No, Matura says see you on Patreon.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. So for our Patreon subscriber, we also do another hour of live show every week where we usually a bit more candid. There's no filter because there's no ads and it's not public. So it's a bit more straight to the point.
Yes. And Lawrence says, Auckland to Chicago was a 14-hour trip. We left 2 hours late, so I sat there on the plane for 16 hours. Slightly painful. I can't imagine doing a longer flight.
Yeah. And also, like, it's also my size, right? I'm, like, really tall, and so I cannot find a way to be comfortable on the plane seat no matter what.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, no matter what, as soon as I sit, I mean, that's those kind of like torture positions. It's kind of like, okay, how long is that going to
Now sit into torture position.
Yeah, it's kind of like, there's no way
Engage.
to kind of make... Yeah. So yeah, Laura can stretch, can put her legs down, everything. My knees just like block me. I can't...
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Luckily, the flights that we have taken to the South Pacific Islands this year have never been full.
Yeah.
So we have always had spare seats next to us and we have been able to stretch out. But still, it's not that comfortable either.
It's not that good. Clay says that New Zealand needs to bring back the South American flight. I think they will slowly, like there's kind of no way they won't, because we have such a strong South America connection. We have a lot of people from South America living here. You may know something about it, Clay. And so, yeah, that's something that I don't think they will not take. That's for sure they will do again. Lauren says, you need a raise, Robin, so you can afford a nice business class ticket. Well, you do know how our company works, right? So we call ourselves a not-for-profit company. So Laura and I can only pay ourselves minimum wage at most, and all the money we make, we spend it in promoting sustainable tourism habits in the South Pacific, as well as
and business class travel. Is the least sustainable way to travel.
Exactly.
So we could
it's
not
very
do
much
that.
not sustainable. It's extremely expensive. And so if I have to spend extra $2,000, I'd rather spending it on coral or metal reusable straws for some small destinations and those kind of things than spending it on Robin. So here you go. That's the sacrifice I make for our beautiful Earth. Anyway,
he has to engage in the torture position in economy class and
go to the toilet with my head crooked.
This is what we do.
But yeah, no. So it's not the best thing to do. And to be quite honest with you, in a lot of the flight that we're taking anyway, there is a very limited amount of like extra benefits into taking like a business class and everything. There is most of the time no business class. Like the best thing you can get will be like a deluxe something, so where you can get the part which is like the seat which is just nearby the door, so you have a little bit extra leg room. But that's the kind of thing that you can take more than just the rest.
Yeah, more long haul flights are the ones that have like the very obvious difference between economy and business. Like Air New Zealand's long haul flights have the sky chair, is it called? Something like a bed or a sky bed.
Yeah.
You can like, lounge out and the air hostess can come and tuck you in with a nice blanket. And
Then we do a bedtime story as well.
Read
What are
you
you
a
picturing in your
bedtime
mind?
story.
How do you picture that happening, Laura? Just tell me. She has a little stool. She's sitting on an ottoman next to you and read you a nice story.
Yeah, and serve you whiskey and
whiskey before bed. Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
a nightcap.
Okay. You're selling it to Clara here. He's
Yeah.
ready. He's ready. He's like, where does he sign? Yeah.
Yeah, Adil says, thank you, Robin and Laura, for all your assistance. Really appreciated.
You're
welcome,
very welcome,
Adil.
mates. We are really happy to help. All right, so we're going to wrap up the question of the day, and then we're going to move on to Patreon. So let's get that show on the road. Question of the day incoming. Question of the day. Question of the day.
Incoming.
Question of the day.
Incoming.
Wow, that's a song, guys. It really shows you that we're definitely not deliriously tired today, and we're definitely on track. All right, so the question of the day is that did you notice that we were off the air for the last 2 weeks? Did anyone notice? Did any of the 10 people currently watching notice? And
We still got 31 votes.
Yeah, so 31 people voted, and out of the 10 people currently watching, 7.4 people did notice we were gone, and only
74 people.
7.4, yeah, because if there's 10 people, 74% is 7.4
Oh, okay,
people.
yeah, I get you.
Anyway, 74%. Let me dumb it down for everybody. All right, 74 people per person of people said yes, we did notice you were gone, and 25% of people. So he
Bruised
said no.
our egos and said no. Didn't even notice you were gone.
Is your ego bruised?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Do you have an ego?
Not really.
Nah. We don't do egotistical things. Okay, Clay says.
But if you get that seat, you have to help everyone out first. Do you really think anyone would if the plane crashes? Sorry, guys, I'm out of here first.
Actually, we did get on our way into Samoa. We did get that seat, and there was a leaflet that was saying like you need to let everybody go first. You need to open the door. Make sure they said like this is what you need to do in an emergency. Open the door, which like is a 75-point opening stuff. So I can tell you we're all dead if I'm in charge. If Laura or I are in charge of that opening of the door, everybody dies in the plane. That's a fact. So 75 points of like a twist this, break this, open this, open that. Like I can't remember the Macarena, guys. There is no way I'm remembering how to open that door in an emergency situation. Then I need to put my head out and make sure that everything is safe. And apparently there's like a rope to toss or some stuff like that. And then you need to help everybody out, and then you get out last. There is no way that's happening. So I'd rather be the guy just behind that and say, oh, by the way, I'm out first. And so you staying here. But yeah. Anyway, luckily, flying is one of the safest way to transport yourself around. So therefore, that probably will not happen to us. Touch some wood. That's barely wood, but let's touch some wood. Here you go. So let's be safe.
On that joyful note about planes crashing, we shall see you next week, where that show will not be a complete car crash. It will
be a complete plane crash that time.
Plane crash.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. We are back next week. We'll be back with more answers to all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. If you're watching a replay of this and want to pick our brain, join us live. It's a lot of fun. Or head to nzpocketguide.com. It's New Zealand's largest travel guide. There's a lot of good things for you in there. And if you're one of our Patreon subscribers, we'll be live in about like 2 minutes for another hour of this nonsense, and we will unpack our first impressions of the country of Samoa. See you then. Bye bye.
See you next week, and thanks for joining.